The recording is now on. Okay. This unity that we, the sons and daughters of the ancient Moabite blood, have established upon these shores of northwestern Mexico in this alien civilization shall be preserved at all costs through the bonds of our league's holy and divine laws. If we violate these universal laws and principles by preferring a stranger before thy own sacred blood, may the flaming swords of our forefathers turn upon us, the wrath of Allah strike us down 7 times. We pledge our allegiance to Prophet Noble Drew Ali and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Time never was. Islam. Salvation, Allah, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Everybody got a copy of this? I know you got one, TS. There you go. Islamish. Act 1. Oh, pardon yourself. Somebody locked that door for me. I don't want no one business. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs, if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7, in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh, and ascended into his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names was given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era in time now, and all men now must proclaim a free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen men. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Islam, Islam, Islam. Please, everybody, rise for the reading of the Moorish American prayer. We face the east. Heels together, touching. Feet at a 90-degree angle. Spread your wings, angels. 5 to the left and 2 to the right. Repeat after me the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
The Father love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My God.
My God.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day. Through his holy prophet. Drew Ali. Amen. You can now be seated. Islam. Islam, Islam, Islam. Happy holy day, Muslims. It's a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. No matter if they drinking alcohol tonight, hitting the club. It's the day of holy day. It's the day of rest for everybody. That's according to law. That's universal law. So I want to give perfect praise to Father God Allah who made these laws. He made the divine order of things. He's the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, incomprehensible, creator, author, governor of the world, Islam. All praise to Father God Allah and all honors to his noble prophet. On that wall behind you all, Drew Ali, the noble. He reached this noble status. He came and told us that we are not Negroes, black, colored, etc. That we had a nationality. We had a lineage, it's something to be proud of, something to proclaim and yell. He said, Mo, I brought you something to yell about. Yell about, Mo, because all people do a lot of yelling. They confident with no knowledge to back it up. That's the false self-esteem. But he gave us something to be esteemed about. Noble Drew Ali and his forerunner came before him to lead the way, pave the way. All honors to Marcus Garvey Bey. And he was a Bey. Told the people that the only protection for the Negro is his own government. All honors to Marcus Garvey. All honors to our flag here. This red flag with the 5-pointed green star, 10,000 years old. That old cherry tree. Them 5 points represent love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The highest principles known to man. Nothing higher than them principles, and they go in order for a reason. Got to start with the love to get to the justice. Our unassigned American flag, this U.S. banner, is our receipt for the compounding interest that the Europeans owe us for our time in slavery, for the work our ancestors did. All honors to these things, all honors to the members, all honors to the Supreme Staff in the Mecca, Chicago. Under the guidance of the Supreme Grand Sheikh and his staff. All honors to the staff in California. All honors to all the temples. Today is Holy Day, Muslims. I want to go into our Quran. Circle 7. Everybody got one? You only got one, I'll give you one. There you go.
You need one?
She got one. Okay. So the message I'm bringing is out of chapter 19. Chapter 19 going on. Make sure everybody sign in on the sign-in sheet. Did you sign in? Make sure everybody sign in. We finna get rocking in these secret lessons. These are the secret lessons. This is the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guidance of his Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. Know thyself in Allah, the genealogy of Jesus, lives and works of Jesus in India, Europe, and Africa, in the land of Egypt. And going in chapter 19, Jesus appeared fully materialized. Jesus appears fully materialized to the eastern sages in the palace of Prince Ravana in India, to the Magian priests, in Persia. 3 wise men speaking praise of the personality of the Nazarene. So y'all already know I like to go into the title. This is a long title. Jesus appears fully materialized. First of all, what does that mean? Because we read Friday's our holy day of rest. On Friday, the first man was formed in flesh. And on Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended to his Father God Allah. But what does that mean? That means this right here. Jesus appears fully materialized to the people. See, the story in the Bible has to be broken down. You have to know what exactly Jesus coming here to do. We hear about his miracles, but what he really came here to do is show us the possibilities of Allah. He showed us in the human flesh what we all can do. We all must do. And that's materialize. When you look at the definition of materialize, it means to take something from the unseen and spirit into the flesh. So let's just think about that for a second. Your thoughts. Your thoughts is in a soul plane. It's unseen. Only you can see your thoughts. I can't see your thoughts. I like to try and say I can read minds all the time, but I really can't. I really don't know what you're thinking from thought to thought. Because a thought, you can't even hold a thought for 60 seconds. So a thought goes in and out. Like you might have 100 thoughts go to your mind in 1 hour. But it's on you to manifest your thoughts, to materialize these things, to bring them into this world we in is manifestation world. Nothing is left in the mind. If you just walk around leaving the mind, then you're wasting your brain. You're wasting your energy here. Those thoughts come from somewhere. Where do those thoughts come from? Allah. So it's a lesson right there, just in the title of how he appeared materialized to the Eastern Sages. Who is the Eastern Sages? Have you ever heard of the Eastern Stars? It's nothing new about that. See, you women's Eastern Stars. By nature, you're an Eastern Star. What is the Eastern Star? That's the star of Venus. That's the star in the crescent we symbolize. That moon represents the woman. And that star is like, look how the star positioned right there on that wall. It's inside the moon, like a child in the womb. That star was birthed from the moon. That star represents Venus, the goddess of love. And they call that star the Eastern Star. That's the star of Venus. And that's what they say women are. You are the Eastern Stars. So you don't have to join the organization to know that. You just have to know who you are. You don't have to be a part of no secret society to know who you are as women. You the Eastern Star. So Jesus appeared to you in the palace of Prince Ravana in India. Then he went to the Magian priests in Persia. Then he went, well, I'm going to take that back part himself. He said, 3 wise men speaking praise of the personality of the Nazarene. So what is a Nazarene? Because we know Jesus came from Nazareth, but you thought that was a place on the land. He was a Nazarene. That's the order he was a part of. He was a part of the school of thought. The Nazarenes are the same thing you call Nazis. That's where it comes from. Just look it up. You ain't got to believe me. Look it all up. Do your own work, research. You're going to learn a whole lot that's been uncovered and veiled in front of your own eyes. So Jesus was a Nazi. Sound crazy, but it's the truth. He wasn't white supremacy. See, that's what they want you to think Nazi is. They want you to tie that to the Ku Klux Klan who did what they did after the Civil War. Jesus wasn't a part of no Klanism. He was a Moabite. And he went through all the halls of learning, the schools of thought. So let's go into his lesson. Verse 1, Ravana, prince of India, gave a feast. His palace in Orissa was the place where the men of thought from all the east were wont to meet. So Ravana, this place we'll be talking about, this great palace. Just imagine that in your mind for 1 second. Let's go to these ancient times when we had palaces. Just imagine. Everybody want to go to the palace and see the beauty of the palace. And especially if all the men of thought was there. The greatest thinkers, the greatest studiers was there. So any wise person would want to go where all the smart people are and all the beauty are. It's attractive. So this was Jesus appeared. Verse 2. Ravana was the prince, Ravana was the prince with whom the child Jesus went to India when 12 years old. Verse 3. The feast was made in honor of the wise men of the East. See, we face the East, but how many know what the East really represents? See, the East represents within. You're just facing yourself. See, all knowledge comes from the East. So all knowledge comes from within you. It's inside what you call intuition. Intuition is understanding of things without having to see it materialize. That's what intuition is. It's just understanding something without seeing it materialize and manifest. You already understand it before it even happened. That's intuition. So when you get into your chakra work, what's the highest chakras? When you reach intuition and imagination, the purity of the mind. How do you know the difference between intuition and imagination? You put it to the test of reality. And that's when you would know where I was just imagining, I was just seeing images of my head. But see, these images in your head, you can really materialize if you truly tap into who you are. Verse 4. Among the guests were Meansti, pardon my pronunciation as well, Vita Yapati, and Lamaze. I know Lamaze now. That's my boy. Lamaze, because, hey, when a woman go through that birth, she got to go through what? Lamaze class. Right? Lamaze is the science of breath. And what is breath? Spirit. What is yoga? The science of breath. So it's no coincidence that we're in India. Where did yoga come from? Islam? India, right? Islam. So where will Lamaze be located? So we go into where the science of the breath is. These are the greatest things. These are the guesses there. These are the greatest thinkers. They there. And the three wise men. All the smartest people at that time and eras in one place at one time. No strange happenings. Verse 5 said, the wise men sat about the table talking about the needs of India and the world. First of all, let's define the word India. That's indigo. Talking about the melanated people. Not talking about a landmass. See, there's no land named India. That's Hindustan. Hindustania. Them people are Hindu. They're not Indians. And that's not India. So when we talk about India, you still talking about yourself. You're talking about the melanin. Indigo. That's where the word India comes from. Verse 6. The door into the banquet hall was in the east. A vacant chair was at the table to the east. Verse 7. And as the wise men talked, a stranger entered unannounced, and raising up his hands in benediction, said, all hail. Verse 8. A halo rested on his head, and light, unlike the light of the sun, filled all the room. So you got to understand, you got a halo on your head. That's what these feathers and turbans represent. You the light. See, the reason why I'm bringing this story about Jesus, because Jesus said, even in the Bible, ye are gods. So you are God. You are Jesus. These things that Jesus is doing and saying and demonstrating, you can do the same thing. Don't look at this brother as some mystic figure that's a God that walked this earth, and he has more power than you. See, everybody has Allah inside them. Jesus is not our God. Allah is the God alone. Jesus is our brother and a prophet who came to show us what we can do. So you got to take these lessons and look at what you can do. You can do the unbelievable. You put limitations on your own mind. But Jesus came to break that Roman yoke. He said, them Romans put that limitation on your mind, but I'm going to show you what you can do. And that's what this story is about. So I'm going to finish reading. Verse 9. And Jesus sat down in a vacant chair, and then the wise men knew it was the Hebrew prophet who had come. Verse 10. And Jesus said, behold, for I am risen from the dead. Look at my hands, my feet, my side. Verse 11. The Roman soldiers pierced my hands and feet with nails. And then one pierced my heart. Now, picture these areas where he's saying he was nailed at. Because you nailed in these areas. Mm-hmm. See, by your hands, you can work. You can materialize your thoughts through your hands. I can get on this computer. I can type up anything I'm thinking. I can bring it into manifestation through my hands only. How's she going to bring it into manifestation? So by them nailing your hands with nails and piercing your heart. What is the heart? The heart is the house of love. That's where you meet Allah. So they separated you from the knowledge of your own God, Allah. Piercing your heart. Because how would that? Because look, when you think of the story of the Bible, when they had Jesus on the cross, did you ever see a nail in his heart? Never. So it's symbolic. The Calvary is symbolic. It's a different meaning. Verse 11, I'm going to continue reading. Oh, sorry, so verse 13. Thank you for that. No, verse 12. 12. 13 in your book?
Not yet.
It's 12 in my book.
Okay.
It might be a little slightly different because of the different book. Yeah, different. 12. They put me in a tomb, and then I wrestled with the conqueror of men. I conquered death. I stepped upon him and arose. That's right there. What'd you say, Mo?
They call him a him.
Call him a him. He said, I wrestle with the conqueror of men. Who's the conqueror of men? The devil. What's the devil here to do? Conquer. Those who he coming to and from the earth, thinking whom he must devour. He's the conqueror of men, but who is the devil? We know more inside. The devil is self. A man with no red horns and red face. Them was fairy tales. You're giving credit to someone else. You have the power to create your own heaven or hell. We are. So he had to wrestle with himself. And he conquered death because he was in a tomb, right? So you in a tomb, who you wrestling with? You in there by yourself. It's love. Continue to read verse 13. Brought immortality to light and painted on the walls of time a rainbow for the sons of men. And what I did, all men shall do. That's the message right there. If you don't get nothing else from this, get verse 13. because that summarized the story. He said, brought immortality to life. Do you know you are immortal? You was only seeing this in movies and Mortal Kombat. That's what I heard of immortality. When I played Mortal Kombat, I was a Sega Genesis fiend back in the day. We played that Mortal Kombat. Finish him. And you over with, but you come back life. You get another life. Well, that's what you can do here. You immortal. You don't die. You serve a living God. So if your God can't die and he inside you, then I mean you can't die. The flesh, you gonna shed that. That was created. That's gonna be destroyed. That's just like this water bottle. Somebody created it, right? One day that would not be. That's not gonna last the stand of time. The test of time. So he said he brought this to light. That means people didn't believe in this. So he had to show you, materialize. I conquered death. I'm immortal. You fear death? That's the 6 fears. That's the 6 basic fears. You fear death. Why those brothers in Palestine they can't mess with them? Why these brothers in the Middle East they don't want to go over there and deal with them far as on the war side? Why? Because them brothers got sons that they sell. They say, I'm going to die for Allah because I know. They know it. They've been raised on that thought. We in North America has been suppressed from knowing who we are. See, it's not enough to just know Allah ain't you. You have to know who you are. Know thyself. So if you know you are, you know you're immortal. My point. And then it says, painted on the walls of time a rainbow. I had to look that up. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had to look up the etymology of rainbow. I said, why would it say a rainbow, more? Rainbow represents the tutti fruities, and no disrespect, but that's what it represents right now. Islam? It represents a community of people. But that's not the definition of a rainbow. The definition of a rainbow is rays of light. Rays of light. So he brought immortality to light and then painted on the walls a rainbow. So he written in it. It's like when you paint something on the wall, it's like when you paint this wall, that means you change it from its original text. So he gave a new way of looking at things. See, you had these beautiful paintings on this wall. That's something to look at, right? So I gave you something new to look at. Before it was a plain wall. See, Jesus came and gave you something new to look at. He gave you something new to see. He brought you rays of light. What is light? Light is knowledge. Light is Christ. Islam, what'd you say?
Indigo.
Indigo? Islam. Rays of light. And then the key where he said, what I did, all men shall do. That means you ain't got no choice. When he say shall, that don't mean you probably can do it. You maybe do it. No, it says shall do. So whether you know you immortal or not, one day you're going to find out. You're going to find out who you are one day, whether it's in this life, in this material world, or on the soul plane. But you're going to find out, oh, I didn't die. I just transitioned. I'm still here. I ain't thought. I still can think. You said you had a dream on this?
I had a dream that I died and I just floated away. I just accepted. I was just fellowshipping earlier today.
You seen that? Mm-hmm. I had a similar thought. I didn't have a dream. I had to actually just on meditation. And I seen it. Death. It was just darkness. And all I had was my thoughts. And I had to overcome the negative thoughts. So that's what the next realm is you have to overcome the thoughts. So that's why you're here to get your mind right now. Because you're going to need it on the next life. If your mind ain't right, you ain't going to be right on the next life. How you going to overcome that negativity? You can't do it right now. You can't even overcome the devil. It's the negative thoughts. The devil is the lie. So if you can't live in truth now, you're going on the next plane of honesty, where you have to be honest. You can't lie to yourself on the next one. You can lie to yourself right now. Go ahead and tell all the lies. I was going to call my homie today. I'll say, man, I was going to call my homie. I want to tell him, hey, Mo, you know you living a lie. But you steady living the other way. So you can lie to yourself right now. You can run and hide, but see, on the next round, you can't. The devil can't hide. You can't hide. The devil can't hide in the next round. You're going to have to face him, face to face. That's what Jesus said. You shall do this. You're going to have to face that devil. You can run, try to hide from him, but one day, you're going to have to face him. 14. The gospel of the resurrection of the dead is not confined to Jew or Greek. It's Quran, hey, when you really take your time with it, Mo, it's talking this stuff, ain't it? It said it ain't confined by the Jew and Greek. It is the heritage of every man, of every time and clime. Time and climb. I ain't even never heard that word. That's a new one. I got to research myself. And I am here a demonstrator of the power of man. See, it's a power in man. See, man, I was breaking that down in the park earlier. See, you see these animals. They have to live according to animal instinct. They don't have the power of man. See, man is the top species of them all. Why? Because we have a power that they don't have. See, everything's vibrating on its plane where it's supposed to vibrate on. And we vibrating on the highest plane. Because we are exalted. We are above all. We are the head of the food chain. Nothing can conquer us. You know where a lion is the king? He's not the biggest. He can be eaten by hyenas. He can be eaten by a worm when he dies. But what makes him king? Because he has a power that no other body got in the jungle. And he has a power of courage. See, a lion is the heart when you get into the zodiac, right? Mm-hmm. And that's that heart. That you got to have the heart of a lion. He has the power of the most courageous. He look at an elephant, a gorilla, and never think he can be defeated. Not even cross his mind he can be defeated. That's why he king. Mm. But they call us the cowardly lions in the Wizard of Oz. So you never knew the Wizard of Oz about you, but they call you the cowardly lion in the Wizard of Oz. Because you lost your power of knowing who you are. You lost confidence in yourself by not knowing you. On their hip and you nervous. I get nervous when I see them lights, Mo. Woo! Hey, something go on me every time, Mo. You a melanin man in this world, Mo. You get. Oh, you start checking the stuff, confessing the things you ain't even did. Man, I done seen Mo. Hey, Mo, I done seen Mo's confess the stuff they ain't even do when the laws pull up, Mo. I say, Mo, you ain't even do that. You confessing to things you ain't even done. You wanna, cause you so much in fear. You gotta understand these Romans, these Jews and these Greeks rule you by fear. They rule you. Institutions set up, they got the schools, banks, hospitals. They got the highest paying wages. They sitting and playing golf on a Friday. Islam? They playing golf on a Friday while you pay your bills. They playing golf. They playing with their time, man. We can't even waste time. We ain't got no time to waste out here. Never talk to him again. Well, why are you playing with my time? Because that's the precious thing you can't get back. But we've been ruled by those who waste their time. And then, just like the movie you showed me about, what was the name of that movie? End Time. Y'all ever seen that? There's a movie called End Time. Was that on Netflix?
It was on TV, but it's on. You can find it anywhere.
Find it anywhere. Yeah. Look up the movie End Time. It's a great metaphor of how our energy is time. How some people waste time and some people value time. But at the end of the day, time is the most valuable thing you got. And time is something you can't get back. I'm going to read. 15. Then he arose and pressed the hand of every man and of the royal host, and said, Behold, I am not myth, made of the fleeting winds, for I am flesh and bone and brawn, but I can cross the borderland at will. See, that's what Jesus showed me. He can't materialize. They heard him dying. The story was out. Jesus got clapped. It's over with. He got it. Back up and shook their hand. He not shook their hand, pardon himself, pressed their hand. See, you got to understand, these words are very particular for a reason. He pressed the hand. That's that lion's paw. Because when you press the hand, you see your hand right there, sister. When you press the hand, see the pulse right here. See, when we Muslim, that's why when we greet each other, we press and we don't shake. We press. Why we press? What? To see if you're alive. This proves you. He say after that, he say, Behold, I'm not a myth. Press the hand. Mm-hmm. Now, you might be seeing me from a distance and be like, nah, that ain't what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a ghost right now. Ain't no way I'm seeing a brother man justice in front of me right now. But yeah, he came and pressed the hand of every man in there. Every man. So that meant he was making a point. Of every man, so everybody in here can be a witness. To what? To the power of man. He came to demonstrate to them brothers. And he said, I can cross the border at will. But see, all this came to see this chapter 19. So you go back in other chapters when he fasted. I mean, he not fasted, but he meditated for 40 days and 40 nights. He conquered himself, right? And then in the story of the Bible, after 40 days and 40 nights, he was immediately crucified. But that's not a literal, it's a metaphor. You crucify yourself, it's the crucifixion of self. Islam, go ahead, Moran.
Borderland, is that like a different dimension?
Islamism. He can go in spirit, come back in flesh at will. That's what Jesus did. That's why his story is the most famous story of all time. Because he really did it. He went to he went to the Magian priest. He went to the what you call them people? Magicians. He went to the magicians and showed them something. See, tricks. But he showed them the real demonstration. See, Friday is our holy day of rest because on Friday, the first man was formed in flesh. And on the Friday, first man departed out of flesh and ascended into his Father, God Allah. That's what Jesus showed him. To depart out of flesh. See, you might call it an out-of-body experience. Or what they might call it now is another name they use for it. Lucid dreaming, levitating, teleporting, transforming.
Astral projection.
There you go, Mo. That's the one I was really looking for, the astral projection. That's what Jesus showed us we can do. See, forget all them metaphors and him walking on water. This is the life and works of Jesus, not the miracles. This is what he actually done, not the metaphors. His name might not have been Jesus, because it wasn't no letter J until 1500s. So we know he went by Yahshua, ben Yusuf, son of Yusuf. Was no Joseph, it was Yusuf. He went by Hebrew name. So he came and showed us these powers that it was not a myth. See, you have certain people like, that's why I say the Nazarene. These are certain schools of thought. So you have a school of thought called the Rosicrucian. That's where the word crucifix comes from. That's why I'm bringing it up. Because the Rosicrucians are people who show you how to levitate out your body. I got the book at home. They show you how to use your psychic abilities, your intuition. They show you how to heighten these things. And that's what Jesus learned how to do. He went through the crucifixion. He learned how to depart himself out of flesh. And you can do it. We can all do it. How? I'm studying myself. But it comes from raising your vibrations, because he had to defeat the devil first inside. So you got to defeat something to get to this point. And that's those negative thoughts in you. That's them lies in you. That's those five foes in you. You have to overcome these things. And then when you reach this, people is like, man, I'm at my highest chakra. When you're really at your highest chakra, you don't know. Oh, you're going to be doing some things that no man has never seen before. You're going to be seeing some, man, like, how did Lord know that? How did he do that? There's certain people that probably can do it. You heard these magicians, and they say they walked out their body or levitated themselves off the ground. It might not be a lie. I don't know. I haven't witnessed it, but I'm just saying, we all can do it. So if you don't get nothing from this story, get that. Islam, verse, I'm going to continue reading. Verse 17. And they talked together a long time. He said, a long time. They put it in Quran. They stuck on that one. Like, man, I didn't just see this, Mo. Ain't no way the dead man rose from the dead and right in front of us again. So they had to talk about that. Verse 18, I go my way. Then Jesus said, and Jesus said, 18, I go my way, but you shall go to all the world and teach the gospel of the omnipotence of man, the power of truth, the resurrection of the dead, the power of truth, the omnipotence of man. That's that.
Omnipotent is being everywhere at one time, or is that?
No.
That's omnipresent.
That's omnipresent. Omnipotence is unlimited powers. Unlimited power of man. The power of truth. See, that's how you know he defeated himself and the devil is a lie. He says, show the power of truth. See, it's a power in truth.
Unlimited divine power.
Omnipotence.
Unlimited
divine power. Unlimited power. He said, after this demonstration, he said after they had a long time talking, now go teach the world about this. And that's how you get this oral story of Jesus.
Yeah.
See, when we get into, like me, I was a Christian. When I left Christianity, I threw Jesus away. I didn't believe in him no more.
Well, you never hear this talk in church.
Oh,
well, I ain't gonna say you'll never, but you
never
heard this like this.
Oh no. No, not in priesthood.
To me, that's how you really know it is what it is. Because like I said, when I went to seminary school, where they taught all around this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All around.
And you were thinking there, that's where you get it.
Well, I mean, and as much as they, profess the faith like they do, you think that they will want to But this obviously this reveals other things that they don't want.
They don't want. They don't want. Because remember the story right before this, right? When he chapter 18, Pilate said, "Don't tell this to nobody." Let's go back. Let's visit that right fast.
They paid him.
They paid, yeah, they paid. Go, hey, tell them, sis. She's studying her word. Hey, now I'm gonna go to verse 8, chapter 18. Let's go back one chapter. Cause see, this is the story, a timeline of things. So let's go back. Let's start at verse. Let's just start at verse 39. Verse 39 says, they saw the body of the Nazarene transmute. They saw it change from mortal to immortal form, and then it disappeared. The soldier heard a voice from everywhere, yea, from everywhere. It said, peace, peace on earth and goodwill to men. They looked, the tomb was empty, and the Lord had risen as he said. The soldiers hastened to Jerusalem and to the priests and said, behold, the Nazarene has arisen as he said. The tomb is empty, and the body of the man is gone. We know not where it is. And then they told about the wonders of the night. Calpheus called a council of the Jews. He said, the news must not go forth that Jesus had arisen from the dead. For if it does, all men will say he is the Son of our Lord. And all of our testimonies will be proven false. And then they called the 100 soldiers in and said to them, you know not where the body of the Nazarene is resting now? So if you will go forth and say that his disciples came and stole the body while you slept, each one of you will have a civil peace. And will make it right when Pilate for the breaking of the Roman seal. So that's the answer, like what you said about the monastery school. See, if they really brought these lessons to life, then it would prove their testimonies false. Because you got to understand, priesthood is rich. They rich. Of what? They offer you no service. Yet they richest, some of the richest people walking around here. It's priesthood. Joel Osteen out here, man, that brother got it. That European brother got it. He got the mega church with Kanye West performed that out here. Joel Osteen ripped the Bible. Y'all seen that? He ripped the Bible up. I got the video on YouTube. Joel Osteen ripped the Bible. He said, I'm not going by this. See, that's the attitude of priesthood. They don't go by that Bible. You think they do because they say, Jesus, praise God, and all these words. See, they praise Allah by words and lips, but not by the action. See, the 10 Commandments was Jesus was against. He wasn't for the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments put the people in slavery.
They redeem the people from the law.
From the law, of the Roman law. Let's go to verse, not verse, but chapter. Let's go to chapter 46, the beginning of Christianity. And I'm not going to read the whole chapter. I just want to make a point. Let's start at verse 6. The prophet Jesus said, these teachings were not accepted by the rulers and neither by the rich, because they love the principles of the 10 Commandments. Through the 10 Commandments, the rulers and the rich live while the poor suffer and die. So now we can get a clear understanding why they crucified Jesus. Why they had to get rid of this brother. Because he came and broke the Roman seal. The 10 Commandments, the principle, see, there's nothing wrong with the 10 Commandments. It's the principle of the matter. See, the principles say, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt have no other God except me. But what about what you supposed to do? Because thou means somebody else. See, these are the principles. See, they living rich while we suffering and dying, thinking Jesus was poor. Jesus was a rich man. They get you thinking you supposed to be poor in this life, die, and reach heaven in the next life. You got to die to reach heaven. Jesus came and showed us heaven right here on earth. You don't have to die to reach this heaven. It's not no place, far country away, it says the Quran. This is right inside of you. Man, I was just in the park. I just seen a woman was in heaven. I just seen a lady in heaven. She walked up to me and danced, gave me a hug, told me she loved me. Don't even know me. But she created this heaven on earth for herself. She was in total peace. She was dancing, vibing to some music, and nobody else was dancing. Everybody looking crazy. I started dancing with her. I had to get my boogie on with her because this is the spirit. This is what separates us from animals. Music. That's the clear indication that you're not an animal. Because you have the spirit of Allah. You got this, something to make you move. This love. That's why Michael Jackson music can make you move. Because it's love music. That's why a child can live and want to dance automatically. Why you want to dance? I'm going to continue to read. So, this part all right, let's continue. This love. Verse 19. It might be 20, yours. He who believes this gospel of the Son of Man shall never die. The dead shall live again. Then Jesus disappeared, but he had sown the seed. The words of life were spoken in Orisha, and all of India heard. The Magian priests were in the silence of Persepolis and Casper, and the Magian masters who were first to greet the child of promise in the shepherd's home in Bethlehem were with the priests. A lot of metaphors in that. That's a lot of metaphors. You got to understand, these is metaphoric to teach you lessons. These are parables. Verse 22, and Jesus came and sat with them. A crown of light was on his head. And when the silence ended, Casper said, a master from the royal council of the Silent Brotherhood is here. Let us give praise. And all the priests and masters stood and said, all hail, what message from the royal council do you bring? Before I go into the message he brought, I just want to break down the metaphors you just read. It says that he went to the what we call magicians. I don't know why that word, as I'm looking at one word thinking of another. The magicians. He came to this magician, and they sat in silence, and Persepolis, and Casper. I heard of Casper the ghost. You heard of Casper the ghost? You heard Casper in the Quran. And the Magian masters. So they was in silence, so they was in a form of meditation. They was sitting in meditation, and then they thought, and then here comes Jesus came in their minds. Because he already, when it materialized, he came and went. He said, y'all go y'all way. He put the seed in their head. But now they call upon him. See, this is where you get the whole story of, oh, you can use the name of Jesus as power. The name is power. You can call upon his name. This is what they did. But you can't. It's not the name, though. It's the meditation part for you, though. It's the ease. It's the intuition part. It's the part when you sit in silence. Jesus, justice from Allah will deliver a message to you. So let's talk about this message. verse 25. And Jesus said, my brothers of the Silent Brotherhood, peace on earth, goodwill to men. The problem of the age has been solved. The Son of Man has risen from the dead, has shown that human flesh can be transformed into flesh divine. Before the eyes of men, this flesh in which I come to you was changed with the speed of light from human flesh. And so I am the message that I bring to you. To you I come, the first of all the race to be transmuted to the image of Allah. What I have done, all men will do. And what I am, all men shall be. But Jesus said no more. And one short breath, he told the story of the mission to the sons of men, and then he disappeared. So how can a person disappear? How can somebody bring a message and disappear? Because he was in the mind. It was a thought. They were sitting together, like we can sit together right now and have a meditation session. And certain thoughts would come in our mind. So that's what happened. And in one short breath, he was gone. One short breath. What you do when you meditate? Breathe. Verse 31, the Magi said, some time ago we read this promise now fulfilled upon the dial plate of heaven.
Sundial, like that thing they had some feeling help them out or something.
The dial plate. Yeah, that's a good question, boy. You thinking like an 8 up now?
Some time ago.
It's like a
Sundial.
So the dial plate, yeah, so it makes sense because it's like the rotary dial on the old phones. It was a circle, a thing that go around in a circle.
I think from what I know, like on the sundial, it was just you judge it by the shadow, and then you read it by how the shadow is cast.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I know what you're talking about now.
It looked like the compass or like the.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. That's the old clock. That's the old clock. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that makes sense. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, like some time ago, we read this promise, so they used that.
Yep.
They used that for you.
Yep. Some time ago. So they talking about time. Then they say the dial plate. They got one in the museum down there in the Museum of Science. They got a dial plate. That's how I know what you're talking about, because they got the ball, and then it's like, I don't know how it works, but yeah, it reveals a shadow or something, and then it's a time. It's like a big circle on the ground, and they just got this ball or something hanging from the sky, and that's the original way to tell time. So it makes sense. Continue reading. 32 says, and then we saw this man who had just demonstrated unto us the power of man to raise from carnal flesh and blood to flesh of Allah, a babe in Bethlehem. And after many years, he came and sat with us in the same grove. After many years. So this now, so you thinking like, okay, he got crucified and then he just automatically came back in 3 days and showed. It's symbolic. That's a metaphor, 3 days. It took years, he came back after years. What this say?
I thought they were saying that he kept coming back even afterwards. Like he kept coming back like to show them, like to teach them basically.
Maybe.
You know?
Islam, yeah, maybe. Yep.
In the same road.
Maybe. It leaves up to the mind to really draw a conclusion to that. But see, that's what this power is, to make you think about some things.
Okay, he was trying to teach them to go read further. Yeah, it looked like it anyway.
When we say some time ago we read this promise now fulfilled upon the dial plate of heaven, it makes me think like they had already seen it before. And then
It was
When
confirmed
he
for
came,
him.
yeah, when he came back, he was like, we sat in these same groves and we seen his vision. Now he came back and, he came back to
Because-
basically confirm in the same grove
because
he sat where he
You're
was.
right. Because that's where imagination comes into play, right? You see an image in your head, but till it's materialized, you haven't seen anything. Exactly. Because you don't understand things until they materialize. That's why Jesus had to come to materialize love made manifest. So it's like you can have these images in your head, but you might not believe yourself. You don't believe in yourself. You don't believe your own imagination sometimes. You think you just seeing stuff or hearing stuff in your head. And then one day you see it happen. Like, oh my God. It really happened. I thought I was tripping. Now it's been fulfilled. And that's what Jesus came to do. He blew their minds. He knocked the socks off them boys. He said, I am the demonstration. He said, I am the message that I bring. Continue reading. 33. And I just read that one. And after many years, 34. He told the story of his human life, of trials, sore temptation, buffeting, and woes. So he told a story. He didn't tell no glorious story. He told a story of some heartbreaks, some woes, temptations, sore temptations, trials he had to face, buffeting, things he had to clear up. He pressed along, continue reading. He pressed along the thorny way of life till he had risen and overthrown the strongest foes of our lying man. And he is now the only master of the human race whose flesh has been transmuted into flesh divine. Now you see the metaphor of this? What you got to do? You got to press through the thorny ways of life. That's what that thorn, that crown thorn represent on his head. It was a thorn crown. That represented he escaped the thorny ways of life. He overcame the devil, the temptations, the trials, these anger, all these things we have attached to us by the flesh, the human life. All these things he showed us. He sat down and said, look, I overcame all these ways. Let me tell you about my life. I had to go through this, but I overcame that. I had to go through this, but I overcame that too.
Look what y'all did to me.
And I'm still here. Y'all can't stop me. I'm immortal. But see, we have our limitations on our mind, though. We got to remove the limitations. Those are the thorny ways of life. 36, continue reading. He is the God-man of today. But every one of earth shall overcome and be like him, a son of Allah. So he is a God, man. But we all are. But he's not our God. I'm continuing reading. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. Yeah, this is the what you call it, epilogue. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. In events after he had risen from the dead, he appeared back to India, Europe, and Africa in the land of Egypt, and made himself known into the world. These events are the 18 years which are absent in your holy Bible. The events of John the Baptist. John taught the Egyptian sage the meaning of a baptism and how to baptize himself. And after he was baptized, he was taken at the age of 12 years into Africa, the land of Egypt, and there he remained in the Egyptian school 18 years. And there he learned his duty as forerunner of Jesus. So that's why this Quran. See, in that one little paragraph it tells you why this Quran is so special.
No doubt.
This is the missing 18 years out of your holy Bible. And you can fact check it yourself. He got lost in the temple at the age of 12. And then he popped back up with some miracles at the age of 30. What happened to that time period? See, the Romans, the Jews, and the Greeks took away this. Why? Because they didn't want you to know these lessons of you being immortal. And they left you with the metaphors, the dogma.
And then at that point, when you talk about that, that revelation of that vibration on a higher level or lower level, it probably just continues to diminish at that point because nobody has that teacher to teach.
Right. Because it's like when you wake up from a dream, you don't remember your dream. So if you don't have no reminders, no books or anything that reminds you who you are, you will forget. You will never know. You're not born in this life knowing who you are. You have to be taught this. We just in another dream. We just woke up from a dream. We never died. We never ceased to be. Chapter 1 said time never was when man was not. You wasn't created. You was made. The flesh was created. The flesh would die and be destroyed. But when you made, and Allah made you, he made himself. So if he made himself, he's not going to make himself die. Now, some of these things is hard to comprehend because he's incomprehensible. You can't figure out God. We can say about God. And all of us have a different message about God. A different way we see God. Everybody God different. Everybody our lives different. You might see our lives love. You might see him as strength. I might see him as the governor. Everybody our lives different. So he made himself and all of us. So we all of Allah. And that's what Jesus, man, showed us. That he's Allah in flesh and that we are Allah in flesh. These are the secret lessons that they never want you to know. What they call hermetic lessons. Hermetic means secret. Egypt means secret. Darkness is secret. When you're in the dark, that's what Egypt means. The land of the dark. The etymology. So this was the secret lessons. And the reason why I brought this to our attention today is because Jesus' birthday is Sunday. Noble Drew Ali came to show us in modern day time what we can do to rise us from the dead. He came and showed us, look, you ain't Negro, black, and colored. You come from the ancient Moabites. And then you look that up, that's the original people. And then you look it up, and in politics and treaties, they rule the world. See, these things right here is on a spiritual plane. But what about the political plane? See, we had a political Jesus. Noble Drew Ali, Capricorn. Oh, honest to all the Capricorns. I don't know if any Capricorns in here, but Capricorn season. More yours birthday just passed. You Sagittarius. I got a lot of Sagittarius in me. But the Capricorn is one of the cardinal signs. It's so when you look at this circle setting, you see how I have 4 sections? It's not a complete circle. We call it circle setting, but it's not really a circle. A circle is complete. Is it not? So what does this really represent? It represents the 4 cardinal points. See, this is a natal chart. The compass, it represents all signs and symbols in one symbol. seasons of the earth. You got winter season, which Capricorn season, right? You got Libra, is a cardinal point, which brings fall season. You got Aries, that brings in spring. And then you got Cancer, that brings in the summer. So these represent the 4 cardinal points. What did that 7 represent? Oh. I know what you're doing. The 7, we know what the 7 represents, the 7 days of the week, Morris. Most people say it's 365. No, it's a year. Not 365 days in a year. Anytime I always trick Morris up with that, I say, name them. Name 365 days. I only know 7 names that repeat themselves in a complete cycle of these 4 seasons. So that's what the circle, even though it's separating and letting you know it's still a circle because it's showing you a cycle thing. Jesus' birthday, so-called, was December 25th. You said it was connected to the 7 planets? Mm-hmm. It's one. We call that the Elohim. Right? The 7 spirits of Allah. Because we say planets, but it's spirits behind these planets. There's a power behind this planet. We say Venus and things like that, sisters of Eastern sages, Eastern stars, but that star is the planet of love. But can a planet really have love? No. What's the name, more? No, it's a rock. It's a star. It's a spirit, though. And that planet represents that spirit. Just like you. You are a spirit. Can this flesh really be immortal? No. It's going to die. But you are the spirit behind this flesh that would never die. And that's what the planets represent. That's what astrology represents. The unseen of the spirits inside of us in flesh. Every one of us have a zodiac sign. Jesus had a zodiac. December 25th made him a Capricorn. Did it not? Capricorn season start when? The 22nd. That's the winter solstice, the beginning of winter. The 22nd, the sun goes into a hibernation where they said it died for 3 days and come back on the 25th. They call it, back in the Egyptians worship as Saturnalia. So this is where Christmas comes from. But really, what we really talk about, winter solstice, Capricorn season, it's a power in that Capricorn. Because that Capricorn is a hard worker. That's the worker of the workers right there. That Capricorn, if you get you a Capricorn, boy, you're going to see some work out of that Capricorn for sure. I got a Capricorn Jupiter. I looked it up. I got to work for mine. I can't. Some people got Sagittarius in their Jupiter. Sagittarius is lucky. Money fall in their lap. You take a Sagittarius with you to the casino. You might hit big. They lucky. They the lucky people. They fortunate. Fortunate. Because no such thing as luck, but they fortunate. But the Capricorn got to work for his. So we had a worker come over to Ali in Capricorn season. He's the reincarnation of Jesus, of justice. He brought us justice. Because Jesus is means justice. His name was Yahshua. But Jesus is a password that means justice, and justice would never die. That's our 5 principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and Jesus. Other man justice. Return. 1913 AD. Really, he was born in 1886. Our prophet was born in the 1800s. Right after the Civil War. He came right on time. I like to think of this because we look at the dial play, we talk about time. So when we really look at time, how did our prophet come exactly on time? He came 1886. Do you know what happened 50 years before that? We signed a peace treaty with the Europeans, 1836. And it expired 50 years. It expired in 50 years exactly. All treaties expire in 50 years. And then here come the prophet. At the expiration of this treaty that we gave these Europeans authority to share crops on our land, giving them tobacco and cotton to trade back in Europe, to make them a profit. Because we was already rich here. The milk and honey, cows and chickens. Islam. So he came right on time. I was just reviewing a video of Pastor Rick Bay. He brought something to light to me, the Whittemore Party. I say, whoa, that's what I forgot about right there, Whittemore Party. So when was the Whittemore Party established? In the 1800s. When did they change over? In the 1880s. They became the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. 1871, Organic Act, when they started a new government and they overthrew the United States of America Republic. The new government was District of Columbia. That's the government. That's the name of their new government. District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. No such thing as District of Columbia. Is this Columbia? Last time I checked, Colombia was all the way South America. And Christopher Columbus never discovered North America. We was already here. So what are they saying to you about being in the District of Columbia? Washington, D.C. Who is Washington? George Washington? Do you know George Washington was the first clone? Have you ever heard of a man named Albert Pike? If you haven't, you need to know this man. Because this is who you call George Washington, the ninth president. He wasn't the first. The first president was John Hanson, a Moore, 1781. The first president under the Confederacy, under Confederate States of America. Before the United States of America, the Confederate States of America. Continental Congress had a president. And John Hanson was his name, melanated. I got a $2 bill. Do I got it with me? I probably only got it with me this time. Let me see, what got this $2 bill, man? Yeah, I got the $2 bill with me. Let me show you more something. I keep this $2 bill for a reason. Now, this $2 bill is very special. That's why they don't got it in circulation. So you get a $2 bill, hold on to one. Now I'm going to show you to prove who the first president was, and it was a melanated man in here. Look right here in the far right corner and see if you can see a melanated person in that crowd.
You gonna ready to tell us after the green?
Out the green. Yeah. You can see it clear as day. In the green.
He is green.
You can see it. Melanated brother. You can see it's distinguished, ain't it?
You know, green is melanin.
Yeah, we all color people. Look at, you see it? You can see it. I don't even have to point it out to you. He stick out from the crowd like a sore thumb. That's why I keep the $2 bill. See, she pointed right out. She pointed right out. She pointed right out, more. Y'all ever seen a $2 bill, Morris, out there? Telegram land? Danny Murray ill, Michael Giles ill. Have y'all ever seen a $2 bill? Look on the back of a $2 bill.
Absolutely.
Have you ever heard of John Hanson?
Nah, John Hanson, no.
Look that name up, more. Because, see, these things you need to know so you have a basis of the politics of the world. So you have a basis when you challenging jurisdiction and knowing what the political background of what you're dealing with. That's why I'm bringing this up. Because Noble Drew Ali came on time. Right when they was usurping us. Right when they was just overthrowing us. See, the Reconstruction period happened after the Civil War. Ku Klux Klan was invented after the Civil War. The Ku Klux Klan was invented to miseducate us through terroristic acts. They forced us into it was being done. Oh, yeah.
They do. They change.
They changed them. They whitewashed them.
There's one picture on here of a black man.
All right, I'm going to bring some books I can prove. They got them in Library of Congress. They got a statue of John Hanson, a bronze statue. There you go.
Yeah.
No, that's... Is that John Hanson?
Is it John Hanson?
No, that looks like Abraham Lincoln.
No.
That's not Abraham.
Abraham Lincoln.
This one here?
Yeah, that's Abraham Lincoln. I think. I may be wrong, though. I may be wrong. Oh, no, that's John Hanson. Yeah, that's John Hanson. That's John. Abraham Lincoln was like that, too, though. No, for real. Abraham Lincoln was as dark as Obama. Obama was not the first melanated president. See, that's another lie they told us. Of a melanated brother, huh? See how history been whitewashed. Abraham Lincoln is on a copper penny. Why they play Abraham Lincoln on copper? Copper. And then, this is a trick my school teacher taught me back when I was in school. He lined up all the coins together. He the only one facing where? The left. All the other ones facing the right. They put him in dishonor. When you face the left, it's like putting him in dishonor in photo. And he's on a copper penny because he was a melanated brother who they whitewashed. That's why he was special. And he won a case in Illinois to prove that we wasn't black. That's why they called him Honest Abe. I got it in the book. I wrote about it. It's called the Dungy versus Spencer case. I'm going to read that right there. If you more got the book, you can read along with me on Telegram, man. That would be question number. I'll read briefly about this. Because you got to know your history to know where you're at and why we don't know where you're at. So that's number 51. It says, what was the outcome of the well-known Abraham Lincoln slander case involving Dungy versus Spencer, 1855? So Abraham Lincoln won a slander case. A brother was slandered. You know what slander means? Defamation of character. You know what defamation of character means? It means they hurt your reputation to do business, to earn, to have a certain status in society and reduce you and make you out to something you're not. Abraham Lincoln, this is his biggest case he ever had. There's only so many presidents been lawyers. Take note of that. Abraham Lincoln, Obama was a lawyer. They both melanated. Every president was not a lawyer. George Bush was not a lawyer. Biden is not a lawyer. Donald Trump is not a lawyer. So I'm going to read this briefly. In August 1851, William Dungy, a dark-skinned young man of Portuguese descent, married Joseph Spencer's sister. A family quarrel ensued, which became so bitter that in January 1855, that's 4 years, Spencer claimed throughout the community that his brother-in-law, Black Bill, was a Negro. So this is what happened. William Dungy was Portuguese. First of all, when you think of Portuguese people, you don't think of dark-skinned people.
I thought they were dark.
But when you see it on the picture, if you type in Portuguese right now, that's not the image they give you when I'm saying. You're right. But I'm just saying that's not the image that I see when I think of a Portuguese person. Like if I think of Puerto Rican or any of these things, we don't think of dark skin. But till you go there, and then you're going to see majority of people that are dark skinned. So this is what I'm saying. This was a dark skinned Portuguese. They came to America, married a European sister. And of course, the European brother was mad. He was hot. Oh, you done married a melanated brother? Because see, they got a thing about us. But see, we can take their women. See, they don't like that about us. That's why they made marriage license. To stop you from marrying multiple women. Because back in the day, we taking all their women. They had none. They came over here with wood teeth. Now, you're not ugly. Not that I like Europeans. I'm not against it. But you're not ugly. They might look to a sister. Because she care about your smile. And you open your mouth and it's wood. Look at George Washington. Placed all his teeth with wood. Before you had the technology we had today, that's what they had to do. Or you had to take a dead man's tooth and put it in your mouth. That's what they had to do in 1800s, 1700s. So this man had a teeth of wood. Let's just imagine. That's not a pretty sight. Your breath. Like, just imagine so many flaws in that. It's love. So he went around and called his brother. His name was William. You know, you say Bill for short for William. I don't know how that. But he called him Black Bill. Case now. Somebody black is defamation of character. I don't allow people to call me that. Don't call me black. You just curse me out. I'm a Moabite. I'm a Moab. I come from royalty. I can trace it and show you who they were. The Bays and Hills. I'm going to continue reading. Lincoln filed his declaration charging Joseph Spencer with slander on April 17, 1855, and sought $1,000 in damages and won. Now, this is the famous quote from Abraham Lincoln I put in his book. He said, "My client is not a Negro. Though it is a crime to be a Negro, my client is a Moor." That was his famous quote, and that's why he got dubbed Honest Abe. Because he was honest. The power of truth. Mm-hmm. He declared that this 1855 before he became president. So you got to understand the politics of what we're dealing with. Why Noble Drew Ali had to come in the 1800s and set this right. He came and told us the same truth Abraham Lincoln told us. But he had to declare it to all of us and make it a religion for us. This is what you need to worship. You need to know that you are not a black man, which means a lower status citizen. It don't have nothing to do with these complexions. We olive color, we copper color, we brown skin. I'm not black. Black is what that turban is. A child can make the difference of that. You can ask a child, well, is you black? And if they haven't been trained, they'd be like, no, I'm brown. But you train them to say they black. So we have to retrain our minds so we more. We're not black, Negro, or colored. You know what them words really mean? Black means blanco, which means pale. Black means pale. But since you have no knowledge of self, they can say you the yellow man tomorrow. They can say you the red man. They can say anything, but you, because you don't look up the words they said you are. You just go about it and say, yeah, I'm black and proud. Man, we the most proudest people in the world, but not have no pride of our ancestors. What did our ancestors declare themselves, proclaim themselves? Because such the holy covenant of Allah, honor thy mother and thy father. Thy days will be lengthened upon this earth land which the Lord Allah have given you. So, if you don't honor your ancestors, you will be jailed, imprisoned, misused, exiled. Like Martin Luther King said, we exiled in our own land. Why come we the outcast people? Why come, this is a question I pose to everybody. Why come we why come we are the biggest consumers? We have the most spending power in the world, but yet our communities are the worst. Communities are boarded up homes and stores, and the stores are ran by foreigners, and our schools are ran by foreigners, and the education system, the curriculum is ran by foreigners, the hospital ran by foreigners. What do we own? We own nothing, but yet we buy everything. We spend Christmas, Thanksgiving. Man, these people make millions off of us. Why come the Jews don't do this? Why come the Asians don't do this? Why come when you go on Black Friday, it's only your people in there? Why you don't see the whole crowd of Europeans out there? Because they know something we don't know. And I know the status, and the status of us has to be, it's not just a status, it's a way of we doing things. Because, see, you can say I'm a Moor all day. You can say I'm black all day, it don't matter. But where do your money go? What are you doing with your money? See, that's the lesson. Because we got how many rappers, how many athletes, how many entertainers, how many millionaires are in our communities? But yeah, we facing the same economic problems. Why come nobody set up a warehouse, got all these millions, say, look, come on, Morris, come here, all black people, come get a job. Why do we have to send our babies to work for foreigners? Kick them out at 18, say, go get a job. Go to the foreigners' European schools and learn their curriculum. Have you learned how many days of the week it was in those schools? Have you learned the names of the days of the week? Have you learned the chakras? Have you learned the science? The true things that really matter. Only thing we learned was how to work their jobs. Very good. And get paid for that. Some of us got good jobs, get paid. I'm knocking no job. I'm finna go back and get me one with these Europeans. But that's because I got a game plan. So we gotta have a game plan when we doing things. This is what my lesson is. What is the plan what does we come here to do? We come here to restore our estate. That's what Noble Drew Ali represents. He represents the inspiration of the possibilities of what we can do. Because he did it. And that's why they want to hide him from you, like they did Jesus. That's why you never heard of him, because he is Jesus. You didn't know how rich he was. You didn't know the mansions he lived in, the butlers he had, the maids he had, the drivers he had, the riches this man had, the warehouses he owned, the land and cities he established. You know, we got more cities. Have you ever heard of Opa-locka? That's in Florida, Miami. It's Moorish. Opa-locka, I wouldn't doubt it.
It's something coconut wrong with that.
But these are our Moorish cities. These are our estates, more. They turned our estates into states, corporate states. But these are our actual inheritance. That's why you must know who you are, because so you can inherit it what you're supposed to have on this land. Because if you come from people who ruled the land and they own the land, that means you don't own the land. If you come from people who were slaves and they had nothing, that means you got nothing. You're entitled to nothing. So that's why they keep this whole slavery narratives going. You notice how they keep a good slave movie going?
We got one coming, I think.
You notice that? How many times do we have to see the same movie over and over about being a slave? The same story. Because they using the hammer, the carpenter tool. Hammer in this to their minds. You have to hammer the truth in. Why we don't see nothing past 1492? Why we don't see nothing past 1700s at least? No movies about us. So we got to start with Christopher Columbus.
Not even with Tyler Perry.
Oh, man. Woo, we all know what I'm talking radical about that brother. Tyler Perry in the dress. Woo, that's a number they did with us on that one. Most creative brother can write movies, act the movie, produce the movie, film himself, engineer the movie, and they got him wearing a dress. Oh my God. That's the way they do our brothers. And the brothers that they don't want to wear a dress, Dave Chappelle, you out of here. Kevin Hart and them, they wear their dress. They put that dress on. That's why they still successful. With Cat Williams, they got him looking like a crazy man somewhere. Last time I heard of him, he got beat up by a 17-year-old or some craziness, arrested, just all type of craziness because he didn't want to sell out. DMX didn't want to sell out. Kyrie Irving, Kanye West. How many examples do we need? Something going on here. And it's an attack on the men and women. But you see what the attack on the men going happen. They want to make us feminine. They want to reverse the roles in the house because they know if we feminine and the woman masculine, the household will always be out of sync. It'll always be killing, murders, theft, robberies, because things are out of order. They want to keep us, men and women, off balance. And see, the women, they take that right there, the moon, and they made a symbol out of it. And they flipped the moon upside down. And they put a woman face under that. And you don't know what that means. And that means that's attacking war on you, on your mind, and hair, and beauty. That's where they're attacking your sisters at, in the beauty. They made you think an image of beauty is some European sister, slim with blue eyes and long straight hair. That's why we have sisters wrap up their hair. Because their hair don't matter. This is what's in here. This what matter. This right here represents y'all. We read this for y'all. This right here represents the womb of the woman. 7 inches. The tassel represents the umbilical cord. So we honor the woman. And we have to restore the woman because the prophet said this. He said this. That's what the prophet said. Because a picture speaks 1,000 words. See, on the rib of the woman is humanity. See, the first teacher. This umbilical cord represents our first degrees of knowledge. Why do you think they give it to you when you graduated from European schools? Why you? I ain't still in school. Yeah. For what? What does that symbolically mean? You graduate into knowledge. Because this tassel represents the knowledge you got inherited from your mother. That's why we have to teach the woman, because she's going to teach the child before the child even birthed in the world. Because everything she know, he would inherit. I'm just a manifestation of my mother. My mother would tell you to this day, she would proclaim more. She don't like to come to these meetings and stuff, but she proclaimed. And she'll tell you, my son is everything I've thought about my whole life. I want to be these things. And he just projecting it. He just walking in it. We are the sons of our mothers. And the son means descendant. It don't mean a male. That's why I say you sons of Allah. It don't mean just a male. We all sons in here. But that's what it's all about. You gotta know thyself. I'm gonna continue reading. I got off track. We talking about Abraham Lincoln. I'm gonna continue reading. We got 15 minutes. We can close this out. When Joseph Spencer accused his brother-in-law of being a Negro, it was more than just an assault. In 1855, if believed by local officials, an accusation of being called Negro would have resulted in the loss of his marriage. His marriage he was lost by being black. Because it was illegal to be black. It was illegal to be Negro. It's still illegal. That's why you get the short hand and stick. It's still illegal to be black. It's not legal. He lost his marriage. So like back in the day, and this is how you can know it to be true. Have you ever heard of marriage laws when black men couldn't marry European sisters? You never heard of that more? Yeah, it was very true. Black people was arrested for marrying European sisters back in the day. It was forbidden. Still is. Be real. But they can marry our sisters, though. That was always legal to them. They can marry our sisters. See, that's why you got Elizabeth's son come to Compton in California and find him a melanated sister. Found him a little tan, light-skinned sister. Took her back over there to Europe. Made her the princess. Because he had to protect his estate. Because the royalty only comes through the melanin of the woman. That's why what's the boy name? Obama. Never revealed his mother was European. Never revealed that. He took on the last name of his father, Obama, who's a general in Kenya. He didn't take the last name Stanley. That's his last name, though. Mama was named after her father. She had a man name, Stanley Ann Durham. And her father, who was Obama's grandfather, is the same grandfather George Bush. Same exact June. They got the same grandfather. So if he revealed his European mother, he would reveal his lineage. He would reveal the corruption. Because I voted for it because I wasn't always in Morris Science. I was Negro, black, and color at one point. And I voted for Obama. Proudly in 2009, I remember the year. Chicago. That brother said he was from Chicago. We said, oh man, we got a brother from Chicago in office. Niggas rode up there and said, I was going to call my homies. There'll be a testimony to this. They said, you niggas better get back in the house. And then they started shooting us in the forehead on camera. You notice how that happened? We weren't getting shot in the forehead on camera before Obama. It wasn't happening on camera. It was happening, but not on camera. We had camera on for a while. But Obama brought us hope. And they didn't want that. So they had to counter because they needed Obama. They needed that brother. They had to use that brother like they did Martin Luther King. They needed that brother, but why? For money. Do you know who Obama's stepfather is? Whoo! Talking about some money. Obama's the richest president we ever had.
And to me, it's almost like to the point to where they can say, like, we didn't. It's not like we didn't try to inform y'all, but he talked about status a lot.
A lot. So it was double playing.
Right. So it's like we can't say that we weren't informed about even the authentication of the birth certificate.
Right. That was the big issue with him, right? He had no birth certificate. Why? He wasn't born in chattel slavery. He was born a free man. That birth certificate you say is yours, right? So that's a bond. You bound yourself to something. That's not you. Piece of paper is not you, and it don't identify you correctly. Do it have your nationality on there? No, it don't. It have you black on there. So Obama would never reveal that part of himself, because if he did, then you would see that this whole government we've been believing that was our government was never our government. It was all along a European government set up by us for them. And then you would see all presidents have a common lineage, going back to Alexander the Great. And then you see what Alexander the Great did. He was the conqueror of Egypt. He started what they call the Library of Alexandria, which all the hidden books are right now. They got books in the Library of Alexandria that's more than any house in America. They got books worth millions that's illegal to bring over here. Illegal if you get caught one of them books. You get arrested at the airport. It's contraband. Why can't a book be illegal? Because it's still illegal for us to read. See, these books and things right here, that's why we have to get the secret lessons. Where did Noble Ali go to get these lessons? Egypt. Why? Because he knew the lineage of what's going on. The source. So we can know who he is over here. Because we getting told over here, everything under the sun, but what we are. So I'm going to close that up on that thought. Sunday school, 1 p.m. Follow Sunday school. We're going to have a celebration for our Jesus. Our Noble Drew Ali, our prophet. All unsolved Morris, Telegram land, hanging in there these long lessons. Also, status correction class will begin Wednesday, 7 p.m. Civic class, we're going to be teaching law. We're going to be going into our law book, the handbook. We're going to be going into the Constitution, treaties. We're going to be going into deep lessons on the political realm. What other announcements we need to make? The new credit program we have. Take heed to that. Oh, the fast. All honors to the fast. You more has been fasting. Got to get high honors to that. Oh, yeah, let me get them Constitution. All the clothes drive is on. Yeah, we got the clothes drive, so we serve the community and give away free clothes, free electronics. I have shoes, suits, nice suits, women's clothes, nice clothes. We partnering with the churches because we're not against church. We're not against them. We're not enemies. It's our people. We love them. Some of the good ones are still in the church. And we have to teach them the truth. So what's a better way to do than come and give them something free? We didn't come here and sell these lessons. We come here to give you something free, show you that we giving back to the community. We love our people. We looking out for the ones who are less fortunate. Some people don't got clothes, new clothes. Some people ain't got things we have. Some brothers come out the penitentiary. They ain't got nothing. Some sisters coming out of penitentiary. Some sisters coming out of bad situations where they got 4 or 5 babies and they can't afford nothing new for their babies and things like that. So we have to look out for each other by establishing love. Love is going to conquer hate in this world. Love is going to conquer war. We're not here to go to war only with ourselves. Not with the European. We have nothing against the European. This fight with us is us. Our communities is us. We need some cleaning up to do. We ain't got nothing to do with the European. Only thing we need to do is stop believing his lies. And then start researching him. Stop letting him call himself American. I'm just saying go out there and argue with these Europeans now. I know I'll set somebody's soul on fire in here. They be knocking some heads off leaving this temple. No, don't do that, but just teach out of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You know, you European. Nothing wrong with that. Be proud of who you are. I'm American. I'm proud of who I am. But that's not a nationality. What type of European are you? Italian? Greek? What type of European are you? What type of American are you? Colombian? Cuban? Mexican? What type of American? A Moorish American. We are Moorish Americans. And that's what Noble Drew Ali came and brought us. He defined everything. When it was blurry, you got people calling themselves African, American. You got people calling themselves Asian. But when you ask these people what their nationality is, they never say that. He said, I'm Nigerian. I'm, what's some of the African countries? I'm Kenyan. Islam, I'm Ethiopian. Well, we know Ethiopian is a word that means something divided. So a man can't be Ethiopian. So this message we got is for them over there too. See, this is the Moorish national and divine movement of the world. It says North America on my scribe because we in North America, but this is for the world. Noble Drew Ali made this a Moorish sign symbol of America, but first he established the Moorish divine national movement in 1916. So this is a movement. That means we about action. We moving here. We ain't about no taking these lessons and then just throw them away. No, we're going to put these lessons to work. We're going to put them into our everyday lives under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We're going to build upon them principles. Any questions before we close this out? 2 minutes. There's one. No questions from the Telegram land. Danny Murray shook his head no. There's one. I'm going to have to get up with you, Danny Murray. I got some things coming too. What you proposed to me on that media side, man, I got some things I've been working on, man. And I'm going to share it with you, and I want you to help me with it. Because we gotta bring this message to the people in a whole new light. High quality. Because the people don't have enough. See, the social media is media. And they control us. Horace Greeley, what he did in the 1800s was flip the narrative through the media. He was the editor of the New York Times. He started telling Europeans call themselves white. He was the Whigmore Party person who ran for president from the Whigmore Party. See, before 1871, it was not white. They was Negroes. They was the Negro in history. When you read your history books like Negroes and slavery, you're talking about the European. I could prove it. Look up the Shays Rebellion. The Shays Rebellion. Look it up. That's when the Europeans in America fought against the slave owners for a whole year straight. It was the longest rebellion in history. It was a 1-year rebellion in the mid-1800s of the Negro European fighting against his own slaveholders, who was us. We had the Europeans in slavery. See, after the Civil War, the books was burned. Buildings was destroyed. So they can tell you anything from that point. Oh, now let's make a new book. Let's make this movie about roots. And you came from Africa over here and you came on this ship and you was enslaved. You the Negro. No, Morris. You was never a Negro, ever. That was given to you by slaveholders. 1779. And lasted until 1865. You was not the Negro. They were. It was illegal to be a Negro. Just check the record books. Did they not come on here on slave ships or ships, you want to call them? Are they not immigrants? Are they not Irish, Italian, and these type of things? Did they not send these people over here to work colonies? What is that? A slave. You send somebody to a foreign country to work a colony for nothing so you can escape jail, pay your debts to society. That's slavery. That's servitude. And that's what we was in, what they was in. And they reversed that, and Noble Drew Ali had to come reverse that narrative for us. That was not the story. And you can look up the Shays Rebellion. Because, see, I studied my lineage. My great-grandfather, my great-great-great-grandfather was a slave owner, well known in my family. He was a slave owner. Most of your ancestors were slave owners. Because it wasn't slavery, what you think, well, not saying they was raping and doing all the bad things. No, they was the actual plantation owners. They was the ones eating off this. We was eating off this slavery thing, this sharecropping. We had them working our fields until they reversed it all on us after the Civil War by force of arms. And that's why they invented Ku Klux Klan. By force they did this, terrorizing us into being Negroes. You know, Malcolm X's father was a Garveyite. You need to look that up. That's important history. Because his father was murdered, just like him. He was put on a train track and they ran the trains over his face. Y'all ever seen the movie Malcolm X? I need to go see that by Spike Lee. Oh, it was, man.
It's so long anyway, the whole thing. That's why I might be getting bits and pieces of it.
Yeah. It's a long movie. I think it was 3 hours. So Islam Muslim. Holy Day Friday. Leave in love. Came in peace and leave in love, Morris. We're going to close this meeting out. Thank you, Morris, for coming, tuning the meetings. Be looking forward to all the new things that's coming forward. I say class start Wednesday, Sunday school. We're going to have a party in here after Sunday school. We're going to have food, vegan food. There's going to be food. And vegan attitude phase on the list. I was here. Made by my mother more bias. Fade with some cornbread and rice. This is well, I might not have no more cornbread left. I've been killing it. Might have to have some bread. But yeah, come and celebrate. It's just a few hours, just give an honest to our prophet his birthright. We celebrate all the birthrights around here. That's your birthright. And you truly never have a birthday. Your birthday is only one day, the day you was born. And he's just repeating that over and over. That's what Prince said. Y'all ever seen that interview with Prince? They say, Prince, how old are you? He said, I'm do ages, I'm my birthday. That's why he murdered that brother, because he bringing some powerful messages. You look up Prince and Michael Jackson, man, look at these brothers' speeches, man. They're going to empower you. You're going to see they use some more signs. Indeed, they was spitting on a high level. So let's close this meeting. Morris, let's all rise for the reading of the Lord's American prayer. We're going to close this out. Face the east. Heels together touching. Feet at a 90-degree angle. Spread your wings, angels. 5 to the left, 2 to the right. Repeat after me the Morris American prayer. Allah, the Father, universe.
Allah, the Father, universe.
The Father, love.
Father, love.
Truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My God. My
salvation.
By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Salvation, Allah, the unity. Peace and love. Telegram, man. So, Danny Murray, you the last man standing. Everybody cut out on me today, huh? I'm gonna talking directly to the camera, huh? They have to feel that energy. The eyes just got energy into it. I don't blame you. Peace and love, more. Thank you.
Peace and love, brother. Have a good one.
Me too.